All right, we got a Manitowoc ice machine. It has no errors. Earlier today at like noon, they emptied this bin, they cleaned it, they turned it off at the button, boop, right? They turned it off. They took off the curtain, they took out the tray, they cleaned those, and then they put it back. They didn't take the water system, they didn't take the water system apart and clean it. Which we're gonna do. Literally a problem maybe that just, well, you got pretty good water flow down the coil. But, like, so it's been on for 4 or 5 hours. And they have almost no ice. It looks like it just made a load of ice. But, no errors. And when I come to service, data, real-time data, time and temperatures, right? So this tells me that my rooftop unit's working, my fan's running, and I'm 23 into the evaporator, 27 out. So we can go to the roof and look. I don't think we're gonna find a problem up there. Well, this is our, can confirm, very hot going in, nice and cool coming out. Problems here. Okay, so we are 4 minutes into a harvest and not dropped. So we definitely has a problem here. So if I lie to it and, oh, I don't want to do anything yet. All right, well actually, if it was in a harvest, I can see what probably was the problem. If we're in a harvest, T3 and T4 should have heated up. Doesn't take 5 minutes to a harvest. It also should be throwing a long harvest at this point. But what the heck? I'm gonna lie to it and I'm gonna pull this open. Okay? We can actually see that there's no ice in there. Actually, there's very little ice in there. I'm gonna close it again. There you go. Alright, so we've got an adjustment problem here. So the real question here is, why aren't I throwing an error? So this is definitely no bueno. That's too close. And so that tripped. And then there isn't anything to harvest, but it should have thrown a long harvest error. Also, they cleaned most of the machine. Why didn't they actually clean the gross parts? Huh? I'll take care of it while I'm... All right, now we're in a harvest. You can hear it snap, crackle, popping. We're hoping for a nice, good sheet of ice. We cleaned everything up there. I adjusted the thickness probe. Wait for the money shot. So it's still in the harvest. Oh, so it dumped its water. I'm like, I hear it running water, but it just opened its valve. So it's draining the water to get fresh water to start again. But, you know, we got up to about 86 degrees on T3 and now we're back down to 33. I can see we've got a nice chunk of ice in there on the evaporator. Why is she not falling? Alright, so it ain't happening. What I wanted to check is that my air pump is running. So I put it in a manual harvest that is putting air out. That's supposed to be outputting air there and there to drop. I want to see if I can show you something. So through the manual harvest, this is heating up for sure. My air pump is pumping. I brought in my level, and this thing is level. It's not pitched backwards. So, like, why? It got angry, man. I was on the phone, so I didn't video, but I mean, it got real angry. We got 4 minutes into the harvest. And it started running the water over it, and then that water started washing out all of the cells, and then they were just dropping little bits, which is what's floating in there. And then it got mad. It went into a thaw, and it turned on the hot gas valve again, like, and it ran the water. It was just trying to shed the ice, waiting for the curtain to drop. We're at 9-minute freeze. We should be getting close. Looks like we got a decent freeze. Okay. Last time it popped at about 11 minutes. You can see where. There she goes. All right, we're ready to harvest. So our air pump is now pumping. See our, that's why I left the top off. You can see our sheet. Our hot gas valve is here, so taking your discharge line and opened it up. Yep, so this is hot now, running into the evac. And what should happen is that sheet should separate and drop. It knows that happened, but it's looking for that magnet to let go and come back. And then it's going to get very angry. I mean, it normally takes a minute and a half, and it drops. Shouldn't have 4-minute, shouldn't have 3-minute harvests. So it's going to get angry, looking for this drop that isn't happening, and it's going to start flowing water over it. One thing that can cause this is the plate separated, but I checked that, didn't see anything with the plate separated. But we're actually at the point where this place is about to close. The whole idea was I came out this evening because we need this making ice all night. It's the only ice machine in the building. They've been struggling. 2.5 minutes into the harvest. Exciting as watching ice shed. Slowly washing out single cubes. Trying to get it to drop. That's not how it's supposed to work, folks. So then it straight goes into thaw mode, where it's just going to keep running water until that opens. If we can catch what it drops in. Alright, so I've got it set up to show me delta across, which to me is weird that I'm already pretty well So I was focused on what we were doing. It didn't work, but we discovered something. So when my TPR valve opened up, right? So when this solenoid opened and let the refrigerant flow through into the coil, we were not getting head pressure. We were not getting an elevation in pressure on this side. So I adjusted out this valve while we were going, and I brought it up to about, it was only at 48, we brought it up to almost 80 in a defrost, or in a harvest. So I'm adjusting this, making it a little thicker again, and then we're gonna give it, I think we need to change this valve, but we'll see. This is the Hail Mary. So we've made it a thicker bridge and adjusted the valve so that when it starts injecting the hot gas, it injects more faster, so we change temperatures quicker, get our suction pressure up. It was hanging out at like 40, so now we're going to drive it up to 80 pretty quick, and with a thick ice bridge, we're hoping it just drops. All right, we got a dance party going on, so I'll be loud. So here's what's happened. I drove that all the way in. Maximum liquid injection. And still, it was only getting 55 PSI in here. So that injector and that solenoid we're gonna change. But I think after talking to a very wise man who always gets it right, that they've had this problem for a long time. So it did finally shed its ice, and it's pretty good ice, what was left of it. This location doesn't use a ton of ice, and so the fact that it's running way too long, they never realized until they emptied this bin today and cleaned it, and then they couldn't catch up. Normally, it's never empty, and so it's a wash. Well, we're hoping this gets them through the weekend. It is producing ice. I've got it wide open, so it's gonna do the best it can. But I'm gonna get some part numbers and hope I can find these locally on Monday and get this replaced.